Hi, this is Miss Sec. This is a pre-recorded video for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. Today we're talking about graphing quadratic equations. This is the last lesson of the school year, so congratulations. We're going to talk about key features of graphing quadratic functions. Today's objective is to identify key features of the graph of a quadratic function using graphs, tables, and equations. Okay, we're going to start with a KWL activity. Okay, so our vocabulary is parabola, standard form of a quadratic function, vertex, y-intercept, x-intercept, roots, zeros, and axis of symmetry. Okay, parabola is the shape, is the U shape of a quadratic function graph. Okay. Standard form of a quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c. The vertex is the highest point or the lowest point of the parabola. So in this case, it's the minimum point. The vertex is an ordered pair. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So in this case, the vertex is 1 comma -4. The y-intercept is -3. The x-intercepts, roots, and zeros, they all have the same meaning. The x-intercept, the roots, and the zeros are where it crosses the x-axis. So in this case, the x-intercepts, roots, and zeros are -1, 0, and 3, 0. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line that goes through the vertex. So the axis of symmetry here is when x is equal to 1. The minimum value is the smallest point in the parabola, or the maximum value is the highest point of the parabola. So in this case, the minimum value is the vertex, which is at 1, -4. Standard form of a quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0, because if a was equal to 0, this would be linear. It wouldn't be quadratic. And a, b, and c are the numbers that are placed. A is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of x, and c is the constant. We're going to talk about a quadratic function. We're going to use function notation. F of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. A parabola that opens upwards has a minimum value. This is the minimum value, where the value of a is positive. The y value of the vertex is the minimum value. The minimum value. A parabola that opens downwards has a maximum value. You see it here, the maximum, the highest point, when the value of a is negative. The y value of the vertex is the maximum point. So basically, if the number in front of x squared is positive, it's going to open up. But if it's a negative number, then it's going to open downwards. Caution. The minimum or maximum value is the y value, the ordered pair that represents the vertex. Okay, so I would like you to answer these 3 questions for these 2 examples. Please pause the video, answer the questions, and then on pause the video, we'll go over the answer. So in this first example, this is a minimum value. It is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, -15. The ordered pair for the vertex it's a minimum value, and the ordered pair is 4, -15. That means A is positive because it's concave up. This one, A must be negative because it's concave down. It is a maximum value, and the vertex is at 0, 1. Pause the video and answer these 4 questions. Okay, this is a maximum value. The vertex is at 1, well, I don't know what this ordered pair is because I don't see the x-axis. So it's a maximum value, and A is negative because it's concave down. This is a minimum value. The vertex is at 1, 0, and it has positive value for A. This is a minimum value. The vertex is at 0, 1, and A is positive, and this is a vertex of -1, 3. It's a maximum value, and A is negative. Okay, now, the axis of symmetry is the line that divides the parabola in half. It creates a mirror image. So all the points from the axis of symmetry are equal distant from this line. The axis of symmetry of a parabola is a vertical line that divides the parabola into 2 equal halves. It always passes through the vertex of the parabola. So you see the axis of symmetry always goes through that vertex. The y-coordinate of the vertex is the equation of the axis of symmetry of the parabola. Here's the formula to find, the x-coordinate. This is the formula to find the x-coordinate of that vertex. That is the axis of symmetry. Okay, for example, in x squared minus 6x minus 7, A is 1. We're talking about ax squared plus bx plus c. B is -6, and c is 7. So if we use this formula, x is equal to -b over 2a, we would substitute -6 divided by 2 times 1, which reduces to 3. So the axis of symmetry is 3 in this problem. Okay, now let's practice. Okay, A is equal to 1, B is equal to -8, and C is equal to 18. So A is equal, so it's negative, oh, here it is. That's what I'm looking for, the pen. A is equal to 1, B is equal to -8, and C is equal to 18. So if we put in this function, we have -b, so -8 over 1 times 18. 1 times 18 is 18. So -8 divided, so this is positive 8 divided by 18, because a negative times a negative is a positive. 8 over 18 reduces to 4/9. If I divide everything by 2, 4/9. And 4/9 is 0.444444. And that is the vertex. Let's find the axis of symmetry of the graph. So the axis of symmetry right here is at 4. X is equal to 4. The vertex is at, well, I don't know what the x coordinate of this is, but it is a minimum point. The x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. It is also called the roots and the zeros. It is the value of x when y is 0. So the past few weeks we've been talking about how to factor. So if we factored x squared minus 6x minus 7, the two numbers that multiply to -7 but add to -6 are 1 and -7. But if we solve this equation, we could get x is equal to -1 and x is equal to 7. So those are the x-intercepts, -1, 0, and 7, 0. This is if there are two x-intercepts. This is an example of when there are no x-intercepts. And this is an example when there's one x-intercept. And we talked about that last week. Find the x-intercepts of the equation. I want you to pause the video, do these problems, and then unpause the video. Okay. Okay. So we're talking about x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. Why? Because you're looking for two numbers that multiply to -6 but add to -1. So -3 times 2 is -6, and -3 plus 2 is -1. And then when we make them equal to 0, x minus 3 is equal to 0, so x is equal to 3. And x is equal to x plus 2 is equal to 0, so x is equal to -2. So okay, now find the x-intercepts of the graph. The graph has two x-intercepts, and they are at 1 and -2. This graph has no x-intercepts. You see, it doesn't cross the x-axis at all. The vertex of a parabola is the point where the parabola crosses the axis of symmetry. If the coefficient of x squared term is positive, the vertex will be the lowest point on the graph, the point on the bottom of the U shape. If the coefficient of the x squared term is negative, negative x squared, the vertex will be the highest point in the graph and the point at the top of the N shape. So this is an example of a positive x squared because it's concave up. The vertex is located at 3, 0. Okay. So the vocabulary words that we've talked about are minimum and maximum point values, the axis of symmetry, the x-intercept, and the vertex. Okay, now I want you to practice graphing this in Desmos. So go ahead and open up Desmos and type in x squared minus 2x minus 8. Pause the video. Okay, we're going to look at the graph and we're going to identify the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the x-intercepts, and the y-intercepts. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 8. So the axis of symmetry is right here where the vertex is. So we can click on it in Desmos and we can see that that's when x is equal to 1. So I'm going to open up another expression and I'm going to type in x is equal to 1. And you can see the vertex now. It's a line that's going through. So, and then we can see that the y-intercept is right here on the y-axis. It's this point at 0. You can click on it, 0, -8. So that's the y-intercept. Right here are the two x-intercepts, -2, 0, and 4, 0. So I'm going to draw on here. Find the vertex. The vertex is right here. Where's the axis of symmetry? The axis of symmetry is this line right here. Where are the x-intercepts? There are two x-intercepts in this graph, right here and right here. And the y-intercept is the point that crosses the y-axis, so it's right here. So you should, today, you should be able to identify these ordered pairs looking at Desmos. Looking at Desmos, you should be able to identify these ordered pairs. So those are the answers. I hope you put it in Desmos so you know that you could just click on the points to know the answers. These are the answers. The vertex is at 1, -9. The axis of symmetry is at 1. The two x-intercepts are at -2, 0, and 4, 0, and the y-intercept is at 0, -8. Okay, well, it's been a pleasure. I've been teaching you for, 10 months. Today is the last day of class. Now, you owe me 2 assignments. Please click on the quiz is activity and finish the assignments. You need a 60% to pass. Now, I want you to continue being a leader in your family. This is a time for the families to stick together and work together. Now, may God bless you and your family. It's been a pleasure being your teacher.